Have you ever stood in the quiet just before dawn and asked yourself, what am I willing to grind for? Not the kind of grinding for attention or applause. I mean the private grind, the small, stubborn work nobody sees. That grind that hollows out the shape of who you become. Let me tell you a story. There was a young person I met in a city that never sleeps. They worked a day job that paid the bills, and they came home tired, shoulders heavy with the day's small defeats. But every night past midnight, that person would light a single lamp and sit with a notebook. They'd write one sentence toward their dream. One. Then the next night, another sentence. A month passed, then a year. The lamp burned steady, the sentences braided into plans. The plans hardened into habit. One day, that person woke up and realized the dream had moved from the clouds into the room with them, because they had ground quietly, steadily, daily. That quiet fierceness is what I want to talk about tonight. Grind your personal. Grind your personal means own your inner work, the shaping of character, the sharpening of craft, the tending of belief. It's private, it's sacred, and it's relentless, so we'll walk together. There are 9 deep places I want to take you, 9 inner chambers of the grind. Each one is a full chapter of work. Each one will demand something of you. Tonight, I'm starting you off with the first chapter, the foundation, owning your dawn, owning the first small actions that create momentum. Listen closely. This part will set the tone for everything that follows. Own your dawn. There's a moment every day that belongs to you, the dawn of your mind. It's not only sunrise on the clock, it's the moment you decide who you'll be that day. The hustle isn't only about long hours, it's about the first hour. The discipline to shape your day before the day shapes you. When you own your dawn, you reclaim the story you tell about yourself. Instead of waking to the urgent scroll, you wake to the deliberate breath. Instead of reacting, you create. Instead of borrowing momentum from someone else's noise, you build it from the inside. Let me be blunt. The world will always be ready to trade you in for something cheaper. Your attention, your time, your peace. The culture sells speed and distraction as achievement. But real achievement is quiet and accumulative. It looks like a person who enters the day with a small list and the courage to do the first hard thing on that list. Imagine 2 people with equal talent. One hits the ground running at 600 a.m., practices 1 focused hour, reads a chapter, writes a paragraph, makes the difficult call. The other sleeps in, scrambles, blames the schedule. 10 years from now, there's a gap between them that feels like destiny, but it was created by the small choices of ordinary mornings. Owning your dawn is a moral act. It says to yourself, I will respect the life I was given by stewarding it. It doesn't require grand passion every day. It requires faithfulness, which is a quieter, stronger thing. Faithfulness to the small promises you make to yourself. That is where character is forged. This is not only about productivity, it's about identity. If you get up and choose the small thing, the practice, the prayer, the study, the step toward a close relationship, you are, in that breath, telling the universe who you are. You begin to inhabit the identity of the person who keeps commitments. You rewire your story. And let me tell you something else. Owning your dawn is also admitting vulnerability. It's admitting that you need structure, that you are fragile without it. That is strength, not shame. Because admitting fragility means you can design around it, set alarms, remove temptation, create tiny rituals that protect your focus. It means calling a friend to check in and making your environment one that supports the life you want to lead. If you struggle with consistency, don't kill yourself with expectation. Begin with 1 non-negotiable, small, sacred act each morning. It could be 5 minutes of focused breathing, a single paragraph of reading, a line of writing, a glass of water, and a planning sentence. The power is in its repeatability. Over weeks, those 5 minutes become 50. 50 becomes the foundation of everything else. Remember, this discipline does not make you into a lesser person. It reveals who you truly are beneath distraction. When you own your dawn, you say yes to the work of becoming. You choose daily courage over occasional inspiration. You choose a lifetime of small victories that stack into one undeniable life. Break the story that holds you. Let me ask you something. What story have you been telling yourself? You see, most of us live not inside reality, but inside the story we whisper to ourselves day after day. I'm not good enough. I failed too many times. I'll start when things get better. That story becomes the prison we decorate, and then we sit inside wondering why life feels so small. The grind isn't just about showing up at work. It's about grinding against the false narratives you've inherited from your past, your critics, your own fear. Because if you don't rewrite your story will write you. I remember speaking to a man who grew up in poverty. Every teacher told him he would never make it. They labeled him as slow. He started to believe it. But one day, a mentor looked him in the eye and said, "Son, someone else's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." That sentence shattered the prison. He changed the narrative. He became one of the greatest motivational voices this world has ever heard. That man was Les Brown, and his lesson is eternal. Until you challenge the story, you'll never change the ending. So here's the truth. You have the power to grind down the old story and carve a new one. But it takes courage. Courage to look at the wound. Courage to admit that you've been living inside a lie. Courage to speak a new truth about yourself, even when the evidence isn't there yet. Every person who ever achieved greatness had to do this. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before producing the light bulb. Imagine if his story had been, "I'm a failure, I should quit." Instead, his story was, "Every failure is one step closer." That story gave him stamina. And let's bring it closer. Maybe your story says, "I don't come from a successful family. I don't have the right connections. I don't have the education." Friend, let me tell you, your story can be rewritten with the ink of resilience. If you tell yourself, "I'm the one who begins a new chapter for my family. I'm the one who learns as I go. I'm the one who refuses to quit." Suddenly, the same life becomes a different journey. Grind your personal story until it serves you, not enslaves you. Write affirmations that feel uncomfortable but necessary. Speak them out loud. People may laugh, but the truth is, you are reprogramming your mind. And your mind is the stage on which your destiny is performed. Now, breaking the story isn't instant. You'll feel the pull of the old script. Fear will try to drag you back. But remember, repetition is the mother of belief. Every day you say the new story, every time you act in alignment with it, you are chiseling away at the chains of the old one. One day you'll look back and realize the old you is gone. So hear me when I say this. You are not the mistakes of your past. You are not the labels they stuck on you. You are not the doubt that speaks in the night. You are a new story waiting to be written. If you dare to pick up the pen, rewrite it, speak the new story into existence. There comes a point in every life where you must make a decision. Will I keep repeating the same old script that keeps me stuck, or will I write a new one? That decision begins with words, because words spoken with conviction are seeds. And the story you tell yourself is the soil where those seeds grow. When I say rewrite it, I don't mean deny reality. I don't mean pretend things are perfect when they aren't. What I mean is take authority over the language you use to describe yourself and your future. Because language is power. Language shapes thought, thought shapes action, and action shapes destiny. If you've been saying to yourself, "I can't do this," you are wiring your brain to surrender before you even try. If you've been whispering, "I'm not worthy," you are writing rejection letters to your own opportunities. If you've been telling yourself, "I'll always be behind," you are building a prison where you are both the prisoner and the guard. And the only way out is to pick up the pen of your mind and write a new script. Your new story must be short, strong, and personal. Not a paragraph, not a speech. Just a sentence that declares possibility where you used to declare defeat. Instead of, "I'm a failure," you say, I am learning every day and getting stronger." Instead of, "I'm not enough," you say, "I am worthy of growth, success, And love. Instead of "this is impossible," you say, "with faith, focus, and perseverance, I can create a way." At first, it will feel strange. It may feel like lying, but understand this, it's not lying. It's leadership. You are leading yourself out of the grave of limitation and into the garden of potential. Every leader starts by speaking vision before it exists. Every innovator, every dreamer, every champion spoke about where they were going long before there was any evidence to prove it. Do you think Muhammad Ali waited until he became champion to call himself the greatest? No, he spoke it when nobody believed him. He declared it, repeated it, embodied it until the world had no choice but to see what he already believed. That's the power of rewriting the story. But here's the catch. It's not enough to just write it once. You must repeat it until your subconscious accepts it as truth. Repetition is reprogramming. Imagine your mind like a field. The old story is a deep trench, carved by years of running the same thought over and over. To build a new path, you must walk it every single day until it becomes just as deep, just as automatic. So, when you wake up, say your new story aloud. When you face resistance, say it again. When you fail, don't curse yourself, say it again. When you doubt, whisper it, even if your voice shakes. Because every time you repeat it, you are laying down a stronger track for your future. And let me tell you something important. The story you write must be spoken with emotion. Flat words don't break chains. You must speak it with fire, with conviction, with the energy of someone who refuses to be defined by their past. Shout it in the mirror if you must. Cry it if you must. But don't whisper your new story like it's a secret. Declare it like it's a birthright. There will be days when the old story screams louder. That's okay. That's proof you're doing the work. Don't stop. Keep rewriting. Keep speaking. Keep planting the seed. Because in time, the story will no longer be something you say. It will become who you are. You won't just speak confidence. You will carry it in your walk. You won't just declare resilience. You will embody it in your choices. You won't just whisper possibility. You will live it out in your actions. And one day when you look back, you'll realize the old story doesn't even fit you anymore. Like a coat you've outgrown, you'll wonder how you ever wore it. You'll smile and thank yourself for having the courage to pick up the pen, to write a sentence that became a chapter, and a chapter that became a life. So I ask you right now, what is the story you need to write? Write it, speak it, live it. Because your future is waiting for a new narrator. And that narrator is you. Speak it daily until it speaks through you. There is a hidden truth about transformation that many people overlook. Change does not happen in silence. It happens in sound. The words you speak are not just vibrations in the air. They are instructions to your own soul, to your subconscious, to your future. And when you speak your new story daily, morning and night, you are chiseling away at the chains of the old one until one day you don't just say the new story, you embody it. Why morning and evening? Because these are the gates of your mind. The first moments after waking and the last moments before sleep are when your subconscious is most open, most tender, most ready to receive. Too many of us hand those sacred gates over to noise, to the scroll of social media, to the weight of yesterday's regrets, to the whispers of fear. But when you choose to speak your new story at those gates, you guard them like a soldier. You decide what enters and you decide what remains. At first, it may feel mechanical. You may stand in front of the mirror muttering words you barely believe. I am worthy. I am capable. I am disciplined. I am chosen for more. Your own voice may sound strange to you, like you're acting in a play that doesn't fit. But listen. That discomfort is proof you are stretching beyond your old self. Growth always feels unnatural at first. The old story was comfortable because it was familiar, even if it was toxic. The new story feels foreign because it is sacred. Think of a seed in the soil. When it's first planted, it doesn't look like much. It's covered, buried, hidden in the dark. But with each sunrise, it receives light. With each nightfall, it absorbs rest. Day after day, it stretches a little further until it breaks through the surface. That's what happens when you speak your new story morning and evening. Each repetition is light. Each word is water. Each day, something invisible grows stronger inside you. And one day, without warning, you'll break through. I'll never forget talking to a young woman who had grown up with years of criticism. Her parents told her she was useless. Her teachers told her she was average. She began telling herself the same thing, I'm nothing. But then, she made a decision. Every morning and every night, she looked into the mirror and said, I am more than enough. I am chosen. I am a light in this world. For months, nothing seemed different, but slowly her shoulders lifted, her confidence grew. She began walking into rooms with a quiet strength. Eventually, she built a business that changed her family's life. Not because the world suddenly gave her permission, but because she gave herself a new identity through her own words. Consistency is the secret. Not once, not sometimes, not when you feel like it. Every day, morning and night, because repetition creates belief, and belief fuels behavior. If you only say it when you feel inspired, you'll never reprogram the deeper layers of your mind. But if you say it when you feel weak, when you feel doubtful, when you feel defeated, that is when the new story has its greatest power. It's not about convincing the world. It's about convincing yourself. And here's the miracle: when you speak your new story daily, it begins to echo back to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities show up that align with your words. People begin to treat you differently, not because they changed, but because your energy shifted. You carry yourself with the quiet authority of someone who believes. And the world cannot resist a person who truly believes in themselves. So let me challenge you for the next 30 days. Commit to speaking your new story every morning and every night. Don't skip. Don't quit. Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Write it on a card if you have to. Set a reminder if you need to. Whisper it in the dark if that's all you can manage. But do not let a day pass without declaring who you are becoming. Because here's what will happen. At first, you will be speaking the story, but eventually the story will begin speaking through you. Your tone will shift, your choices will align, your vision will sharpen. And people around you will notice that something about you has changed, even if they can't explain it. That's the power of speaking your future into the present, daily, faithfully, relentlessly. One day, you will no longer have to remind yourself. You will wake up and the words will rise naturally like breath, because they are no longer just affirmations, they are your identity. That is the day you will know the grind has worked. The new story has taken root, and your life will never be the same again. Anchor it in action. Let your deeds agree with your words. It is one thing to speak a new story. It is another to live it. Words have power, yes, but words without action are like seeds left in a packet, full of potential but never planted. The real transformation happens when your actions begin to align with your declarations. When you say, I am disciplined, but then you back it with the choice to get up and do the work. When you say, I am worthy, and then you treat yourself with respect instead of neglect. When you say, I am a person of vision, and then you take the first trembling step toward that vision. Anchoring it in action means proving to yourself that the story you're telling is not just wishful thinking. It's not empty words. It's a commitment backed by evidence. You're saying, I don't just speak possibility, I live it. I don't just declare strength, I move in it. I don't just whisper worth, I walk in it. The beauty of this step is that the action doesn't have to be huge. In fact, the smaller and more consistent, the better. If your new story is, I am healthy and strong, your anchor might be 10 push-ups in the morning or one healthy meal choice each day. If your story is, I am focused and disciplined, your anchor might be setting a timer and working undistracted for 20 minutes. If your story is, I am a creator, your anchor could be writing one paragraph, sketching one line, recording one idea. The point isn't how big the act is. The point is that it's real, daily, and undeniable. Because here's the truth. The brain believes what it sees you do more than what it hears you say. If you tell yourself every day, I am disciplined, but you keep hitting snooze, Your subconscious knows the truth, but if you tell yourself the same story and then you take a single small action that proves it, your subconscious begins to shift. It starts to trust you. And when your mind trusts you, it unlocks strength you didn't know you had. I once spoke with a man who wanted to rebuild his confidence after years of feeling lost. He started with words repeating, "I am strong, I am capable, I am consistent." But he knew the words had to be anchored, so he chose one act every morning. Before anything else, he laced up his shoes and went for a short walk. Rain or shine, tired or rested, he walked. At first it was 10 minutes, then 20, then 30. He didn't miss a day. That small action became evidence that his story was real. Within a year, he wasn't just walking, he was running, leading, mentoring others. It all began with one anchored act. That's how momentum is built. Not in giant leaps, but in small, steady steps that agree with your words. And over time, those steps turn into habits, habits into character, character into destiny. But let me warn you, the old story will fight back. It will try to convince you that your small act doesn't matter. It will whisper, what's the point of 10 push-ups? What's the point of 1 page? What's the point of a 10-minute walk? Don't listen. Those whispers are lies, because greatness is never built in one day. It is built daily. And what looks small today becomes unshakable tomorrow. Anchoring your story in action also builds credibility with yourself. Many of us have broken so many promises to ourselves that we don't trust our own word anymore. We've said, "I'll start tomorrow," and tomorrow never came. We've said, "This time will be different," and then slipped back into the old pattern. Anchoring in action is how you rebuild that trust. Every time you follow through, even in the smallest way, you're repairing the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. So I challenge you, pick one action that aligns with your story and do it every single day. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until it's easy. Start small, but start now. And let that act become your proof. Say the story with your lips, but carve it into reality with your hands, your choices, your behavior. Because in the end, the world doesn't just listen to what you say, it watches what you do. And when your actions agree with your words, when your daily grind reflects your inner narrative, you become unstoppable. You move from hoping to becoming, from wishing to walking, from speaking the life you want to living it. Anchored in action. Let your deeds rise as witnesses to your words. And soon, you won't just be telling a new story, you'll be living one. Guard your circle, protect the voices that shape your story. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your story. The people closest to you are either watering the seed of your new identity or poisoning it with doubt. They are either mirrors reflecting your potential or anchors dragging you back into your past. If you want to live a new story, you must guard your circle with wisdom and courage. Let's be real. Some of the old story wasn't even your own creation. It was handed to you by the people around you. Maybe it was a parent who kept saying, "You'll never amount to anything." Maybe it was friends who mocked you when you dreamed too big. Maybe it was coworkers who laughed when you tried to rise. Over time, their voices became your inner voice. You stopped needing them to tell you who you weren't because you started repeating it yourself. That is the power of a circle. And that is why you must guard it. Guarding your circle doesn't mean you stop loving people. It doesn't mean you look down on anyone, but it does mean you set boundaries. It means you recognize who is safe to share your new story with and who is not. It means you understand that some people are not ready to see you grow, because your growth reminds them of the places they've refused to grow. And rather than face their own reflection, they'd rather pull you back down. That's not your burden to carry. If you want to grind your personal and live out a new story, you must learn to step away from environments that rehearse the old one. It might mean limiting time with people who constantly complain, who constantly doubt, who constantly speak fear, not because you hate them, but because you are protecting the fragile seed of your new identity. But it's not just about stepping away from the wrong voices. It's about seeking the right ones. Find people who remind you of your strength when you forget it. Find those who see the potential in you even when it hasn't fully shown. Find those who don't just tolerate your dreams, but cheer them on. When you surround yourself with people who live with vision, you begin to borrow their energy, their courage, their mindset. Their example shows you what's possible. I'll tell you this, you will rise or fall to the level of your circle. If you want to soar, stop flocking with chickens. Eagles don't spend their time in the barnyard. They rise above the storm, and the people you choose to be around will either clip your wings, or strengthen them. There's a story of a young man who was struggling to change his life. Every time he tried to break free, his friends pulled him back into old habits. They'd laugh at his discipline, tempt him to waste time, tell him he was acting different. For a while, he listened. But then he made a hard choice. He stepped away. It was lonely at first, but soon he found a mentor, then a group of people who were chasing growth, not excuses. His life transformed. Why? Because his circle changed, and with it, his story. Guarding your circle is an act of self-respect. You don't owe anyone your stagnation. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe anyone your dreams. You owe it to yourself to place your life in environments that allow you to grow. This doesn't mean you cut everyone off. Sometimes it just means creating distance, limiting influence, or shifting what conversations you engage in. Sometimes it means finding new communities through books, podcasts, groups, mentors, or friends who share your vision. And sometimes it means walking alone for a season until you find the people who truly align with your destiny. And let me tell you, when you guard your circle, you will find strength you didn't know you had. You'll hear less of the noise of doubt and more of the echo of your new story. You'll realize you don't have to fight so hard to believe in yourself because your circle believes with you. That kind of support is priceless, so be brave. Protect your story like it's treasure, because it is. Say no to the voices that diminish you. Say yes to the voices that lift you, because the circle you guard today will shape the life you live tomorrow. And your story deserves to be surrounded by people who remind you of who you truly are becoming. Record proof, build evidence for the life you're becoming. One of the greatest battles in rewriting your story is the battle against forgetfulness. You might speak the new words, take the new actions, surround yourself with the right people. But if you don't track your victories, even the smallest ones, your mind will find a way to convince you that nothing has changed. That's why recording proof is powerful. A story journal becomes your testimony, your living record that says, I am not who I used to be. I am growing, I am moving, I am becoming. Think about it, how often have you done something courageous, disciplined, or extraordinary only to brush it off like it didn't matter? You finished a workout, but told yourself it was too short. You spoke up in a meeting, but downplayed it as no big deal. You resisted an old habit, but forgot to celebrate it because it seemed small. That is how we sabotage our growth, by ignoring the very evidence that proves our new story is real. Recording proof is how you fight that sabotage. Each time you write down a win, no matter how small, you are building a case file for your new identity. You are giving your future self evidence to silence the voice of doubt. When that inner critic rises up to say, you haven't changed, you're still the same, you can open your journal and point to the fact sign. On Monday, I woke up at 6 a.m. On Tuesday, I read for 20 minutes. On Wednesday, I kept my promise to call my mentor. On Thursday, I walked away from negativity. On Friday, I wrote a page of my book. That is undeniable proof, and proof destroys lies. The truth is, the human brain is biased toward remembering failure more than success. You remember the one rejection letter, the one harsh comment, the one time you slipped, and you forget the 10 moments you rose, the 10 commitments you kept, the 10 steps you took forward. That's why your story journal is essential. It interrupts the bias. It shines light on the wins you would otherwise forget. It keeps you from drowning in false evidence of failure. And don't just record the big wins. Record everything. Did you choose water instead of soda today? Write it down. Did you pause before reacting in anger? Write it down. Did you finish that one small task you've been avoiding? Write it down. Did you show up? Even when you didn't feel like it, write it down. Because the truth is, transformation is not built on grand victories. It is built on the accumulation of small, daily faithfulness. And when you see those small acts written in black and white, you realize how powerful you really are. There's a man I once coached who was trying to quit smoking after years of struggle. He tried countless times and always fell back. I told him, don't just try to quit. Track every moment you resist. Write it down. At first, his journal had only 1 or 2 lines a day, but soon it grew. 10 times resisted. 15 times, 30 times, seeing it written down changed everything. He stopped focusing on the one cigarette he slipped with and started focusing on the dozens of victories he had each day. That journal became his strength. Within months, he was free. That's the power of recording proof. It shifts your focus. Instead of obsessing over where you fell, you magnify where you stood. And what you magnify grows. So here's my challenge to you. Get a notebook, label it My Story Journal, and start today. Don't wait until you have something big. Write tonight. I am here. I am choosing to begin. Then tomorrow, write one more win. And the next day, another. Let it become a ritual, a sacred moment where you honor the evidence of your transformation. Over time, your journal will become more than pages. It will be a mirror. When you doubt yourself, open it and look, not at who you were, but at who you've been becoming, one step at a time. And when you look back a month, 6 months, a year later, you'll see the undeniable truth. You didn't just talk about change. You lived it. Record your proof. Guard it. Celebrate it. Because every word in that journal is a stone in the foundation of the life you're building. And one day, when someone asks how you became who you are, you'll be able to open that book and say, here, this is the story I wrote, one small victory at a time. Speak it aloud. Declare your new story with confidence. There is something powerful about the human voice. Words are not just sounds that escape our lips. They are vibrations that shape our reality. Long before we take action, long before the world believes us, our words begin to carve the path. And when you dare to speak your new story aloud, not just think it, not just whisper it inside, but boldly declare it with confidence, you begin to transform not only how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. Think about the voices you've heard most in your life. Some voices lifted you, told you that you were capable, strong, and worthy. Other voices cut deep, told you that you couldn't, shouldn't, or wouldn't. And over time, those voices became your inner dialogue. They echo in the quiet moments, reminding you of past failures, feeding doubt into your future. That is why it is not enough to silently believe in change. You must drown out the lies with louder truth. You must speak your story into existence. I remember a woman I once met who had battled years of self-doubt after leaving an abusive relationship. She was told she was worthless, broken, and unlovable. She had started to internalize those lies. I asked her, what do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? She said, I don't say anything. I just see what he said about me. I told her, then starting today, I want you to look in that mirror every morning and declare, I am worthy. I am strong. I am free. At first, her voice shook. She barely believed the words, but she spoke them anyway. Day after day, her voice grew stronger. Within months, she carried herself differently, not because her circumstances had magically changed, but because she had spoken her new identity into life until her soul could no longer deny it. That's the secret. When you speak your story aloud, you train your mind to align with your words. Neuroscience proves that the brain listens to the body. When you say, I can't do this, your brain shuts down. But when you say, I am capable, I am ready, I am rising, your brain begins to search for ways to make that true. Your voice becomes the compass that directs your energy. And it's not just about affirmations. It's about bold declarations that shape your destiny. Say out loud, I am building a new life. Say, I am becoming disciplined. Say, I am worthy of love, success, and joy. Say, I am not my past. I am my potential. even if it feels awkward. Even if no one is around, even if part of you doesn't fully believe it yet, speak it. Because repetition rewires belief. Confidence is not born in silence. It is forged in sound. The truth is, silence lets old stories grow. If you don't speak life, the negative narrative will keep speaking death. And some of you know exactly what I mean. You've let old words haunt you for years. But the moment you lift your voice and declare a new truth, you silence the ghosts of your past, you starve the lies, you remind yourself that your voice carries power, authority, and vision. Do you know why public speakers, athletes, leaders, and dreamers rehearse their words out loud? Because what you say with your mouth seeps into your spirit. It becomes second nature. When a runner says, "I am strong, I will finish this race," they are not just motivating themselves, they are commanding their body to obey. When a student says, "I will pass this exam," they are shifting their focus from fear to faith. When you say, "I will rise above my struggles," you begin to walk taller, act bolder, and live freer. So here is my challenge every morning and every night. Speak your new story aloud. Don't just write it, don't just think it. Say it. Stand in front of the mirror if you must. Say it in the car on your way to work. Whisper it in your prayers. Shout it in your room if you have to. Let your own ears hear the sound of your transformation. Because the moment your voice becomes louder than your doubts, you win. One day, you will look back and realize that the life you're living started as words you once spoke. And you'll see that it was not magic, not chance, but the consistency of declaring your story until it became the only truth you could live. So speak it aloud. Speak it with fire. Speak it with faith. Speak it until every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, and every step you take believes it. Because your voice is the architect of your destiny, and the world is waiting to hear the story only you can declare. Act as if you are already living that story. There comes a moment when words alone are not enough. Belief without movement is like a seed left in a drawer. It has the potential for life, but it never grows roots. You can think it, you can say it, you can even dream it, but until you act as if it is already true, your story remains only a possibility. The bridge between who you are and who you're becoming is built by action. And the most powerful way to build that bridge is to act as if the life you are creating is already yours. When I say act as if, I don't mean pretend in a shallow sense. I don't mean faking it to impress others. I mean living with the posture, the habits, the mindset, and the discipline of the person you're becoming before the world recognizes it, before the results show up. Because transformation doesn't begin when the world validates you. Transformation begins when you behave in alignment with your new identity long before anyone else believes in it. Think about a student who wants to graduate at the top of their class. They don't wait until they are valedictorian to start acting like one. They study as if they already are. They wake up early, take notes, ask questions, and discipline their time. The crown is not placed on their head, and then the effort begins. The crown is earned because they acted like they already carried it. Or consider someone who dreams of being healthy after years of neglecting their body. They don't wait until the pounds fall off to begin seeing themselves differently. They act as if they are already fit. They walk into the gym like they belong there. They order food like their body is sacred. They move with the confidence of someone who values themselves. And soon, their body begins to mirror the choices they've made. The results are born out of alignment, not accident. When you act as if you stop waiting for permission. Too many people are waiting for a sign, waiting for someone to clap for them, waiting for circumstances to change. But waiting is the language of the defeated. Acting is the language of the determined. You don't wait to feel confident. You act with courage until confidence grows. You don't wait to be successful. You act with discipline until success catches up to you. You don't wait to be loved. You act with self-respect until love finds you. The truth is, the world responds to how you carry yourself. If you walk like you're beaten, talk like you're defeated, and act like you've already lost, the world will treat you accordingly. But when you walk with dignity, speak with conviction, and act with faith, people begin to see you differently, and more importantly, you begin to see yourself differently. Your reality bends to the strength of your consistency. There is a story about a man who wanted to be a speaker. For years, he doubted himself, thinking no one would ever want to hear his voice. One day, a mentor told him, "Stop waiting to be called a speaker. Start speaking." So he began showing up at small gatherings, schools, churches, community events, anywhere someone would listen. At first, only a few people came, but he acted as if he was standing on the world's biggest stage. His energy, his preparation, his passion, he gave everything as if the audience was thousands. Years later, it was thousands. And people called him one of the greatest speakers of his time. But the truth is, he became that speaker the moment he started acting as if. This is your turning point. You've thought about it. You've spoken it. Now it's time to move. Don't just write, "I am disciplined." Set the alarm and wake up early. Don't just say, "I am courageous." Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Don't just declare, "I am free." Walk away from what chains you. Action is the evidence of belief. So from this day forward, don't just dream it, don't just declare it, live it. Walk like you belong in the future you're building. Talk like your story has already shifted. Show up to life as the person you're becoming. And one day, when you look around and see that your actions and your reality have finally aligned, you will realize that the life you once imagined has become the life you're living. Because the truth is, destiny doesn't wait for those who hesitate. It unfolds for those who act as if. Leave a legacy that outlives you when all is said and done. Life is not measured by the cars you drive, the money in your account, or the titles beside your name. Life is measured by the fingerprints you leave on the hearts of people, by the difference you make in the lives of others, by the legacy that carries your name when you are no longer here to speak it. The grind of your personal journey is not just for your survival or success, it is for something greater. It is about leaving behind a story that echoes long after your voice has gone silent. Every person, no matter where they come from, has two lives, and the one they live for themselves and the one that continues when they are gone. The question you must ask yourself is, what will people say about me when I am no longer here? Will they remember you as someone who only took or someone who gave? Will they remember you as someone who settled or someone who rose? Will they remember you as someone who walked in fear or someone who lived with courage? Legacy is not something you start building at the end of your life. Legacy is crafted in the little choices you make every day. It's in how you treat people when no one is watching. It's in the moments when you decide to go the extra mile, when you choose honesty over shortcuts, when you lend a hand to someone who can't return the favor. Legacy is built when you sow seeds of kindness, discipline, and faith into the ground of today, trusting that tomorrow will reveal the harvest. Think of the greatest names you admire. Their achievements may inspire you, but it is the lives they touched that make them unforgettable. A leader is remembered not only for speeches, but for the courage to stand when others bowed. A teacher is remembered not only for lessons, but for believing in a child who didn't believe in themselves. A parent is remembered not only for providing, but for loving, guiding, and instilling values that shape generations. The common thread in all of them is this: they gave something of themselves that could not be erased. You don't have to be famous to leave a legacy. Legacy is not about spotlight, it's about impact. It's in raising children who know how to love, in serving your community, in being the one who lifts others when they fall. Legacy is when your name brings comfort, strength, and courage to those who speak it. Legacy is when your story reminds someone that they too can rise, they too can overcome, they too can create a better tomorrow. And here's the truth: your grind, your struggles, your sacrifices, they are not just for you. They are preparing the path for someone else who will come after you. Every time you refuse to give up, you make it easier for someone else to keep going. Every time you conquer fear, you show others it can be done. Every time you rise from failure, You give hope to someone buried under the weight of their mistakes. Your fight is not wasted. It is the torch that lights the way for the next generation. But leaving a legacy requires intention. You must decide now who you want to be remembered as. Don't wait until you are older to think about legacy, because legacy is being written right now in the way you live today. If you want to be remembered as generous, then give now. If you want to be remembered as courageous, then act now. If you want to be remembered as faithful, then trust now. Legacy doesn't begin someday, it begins this day. One day your time here will end. None of us escape that truth. And when that moment comes, no one will ask how many followers you had or how much was in your wallet. They will ask themselves, how did this person make me feel? What did this person leave behind? What seeds did they plant in the world? That will be your legacy. And the good news is you have the power to shape it starting today. So grind your personal not just for yourself, but for the lives you will touch, the stories you will inspire, and the generations that will benefit from your courage. Leave something that outlives you, a love so deep, a strength so enduring, a faith so unshakable, that long after you are gone, the world will still feel your presence. That is the power of legacy. That is the ultimate reward of the grind.